Hi, I'm Janie. Welcome back to the League-Kempner House here in Galveston. I'm the president of the nonprofit set up to restore and preserve this incredible house. And we are picking up our video this week back with our roofing activities. But before we get into that, I want to share with you something that I got to do that many of you are going to be so jealous of. I know Heather and Joe were. There were some problems with the roof, as you saw in the last video. There were some scheduling issues, and I had actually already planned on taking a quick trip with a friend, Stephanie, our board member, actually, up to St. Louis to visit her daughter. And while we were there, we were having so much fun looking at architectural salvage places and all the old gorgeous homes and everything. And then a light bulb went off in my head that St. Louis is where Caleb and Kim are with Second Empire Strikes Back. So I reached out and I got to do something so fun. I drove by to see their house and actually was so excited I didn't really even get a picture of it. So I'll show you one from the internet here. But then I met up with Caleb over at the Lustron house and got to meet him and his father and get a personal tour. And I know many of you came from their channel because he was very kind enough to recommend us as a channel that people should be following if they like old home restorations. So let me just show you some brief clips of our visit there. Okay, this is a little overwhelming.
These might be a little small.
These are small, but no, those are very basic. But I'm sure they have more.
Well, there's somebody. I like your voices.
We'll go ask, but look how pretty.
Hard to say.
Right, I might just have to buy some because they're pretty. Look at those rollers. Oh my gosh. Here's my foot for scale. Look at the fireplace covers. Look at the Tower of Modern lampshades. That's funny. Okay, I'm in love out here. Oh. Okay, we don't know how to get out. We are inside the brewery. And we don't see a way out. There's Caleb. Here's his dad. And almost everybody on our channel knows Second Empire Strikes Back. Many of you came from there. And the others, I see what our fans watch, and you are always in there. But this is a completely different kind of project if you're not familiar with the channel that's going on. So, oh, look at the light fixture.
That just went up.
Yeah, that's brand new.
Oh, wow. Where did you find that?
Germany.
Okay.
Etsy
My
in Germany.
daughter is going to go crazy.
This was the other one we were going to do, but we went with this one.
Yeah, this one has the retractable bit too, so you can pull it up or down.
Oh, I'm sure you'll find a place for that. But look at these cabinets. This house is all metal inside.
Yeah, everything's pocket doors, kind of like a lot of Victorian stuff as well. But this is way more, I guess, car-like than it is house-like.
It is fun.
Lots
And
of
thank you. I just thanked him, but I want to thank him on camera. So if you don't know, well, most of you know because you came from his channel, but Caleb gave us a shout out a couple of years ago as unknown channels that he liked to watch. And actually, you were saying you found us.
Yep.
So thank you so much for that. But oh, look, there's a dinosaur. Oh, okay, I saw the
Yeah,
hippo in the
rocket
front.
up there. Yeah.
I hope you leave that.
Oh yeah, we just put him in.
Oh, did you?
Well, like a year and a half ago, yeah. Got a
Okay.
whole golf course out there back there too, a putt-putt, but we're going to restore.
There's a rocket ship out there.
Okay.
There's 2 more rocket ships out there.
There's
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, this could be the coolest house ever. So
It's going to be fun.
it's going to be fun. We spent over an hour getting a full tour of the house. Caleb, John, and Kim are just as nice and hospitable as you would expect from watching their videos. It was a wonderful treat to get to meet this remarkable young man. And you can check out the full Lestron house at his channel, The Second Empire Strikes Back, and get the full story of this house and what he and his dad are doing. And as he explains in his videos, these are going to be short-term rentals so you can get a full immersion experience back in 1950. I will definitely come back and visit. It's going to be such a fun house. But it was back to reality after posing with the hippo a little bit in our roofing dilemmas back in Galveston. Okay, that was lots of fun, but then it was back to reality and back here at this house to meet with the roofers and get going. And I was quite anxious to get that big lift here because I had a lot of work I needed to do. One part of the work they're going to do is putting a guttering system up in that U-shaped area that holds all the water. And before they attach that gutter, I wanted to scrape and sand and prime and paint the fascia that the gutter is going to sit up against, because once the gutter's up, there's no going back. So I needed to use that lift for a few days before they did that work. Okay, it's here. They're still having crew problems, so it's a very small crew. A lot of it is due to just the really severe weather in this Houston area. So many jobs are delayed and serious damages to roof, but with this here, I can get started on my work. It's a little bit different than the one I used before. So I may need a little lesson on it. It's smaller, looks smaller. So that may be easier to maneuver. This should get the job done. We will just put that ramp down and drive it right off and drive it through the gate. It's coming. Yeah, I think that's much smaller than the other one. The other one would just barely fit through the gate. It always makes me so nervous when they bring big equipment through this opening. These cast iron posts are very brittle, and if they were to hit them, they could shatter and break, and I'd just be devastated because these are original to the house back from 1893. He's a pro. The basket on this lift is actually wider than the gate opening, so as he's backing into the driveway, he has to lift up that boom arm to get the basket up higher than the fence. Hero is here. Oh, there she went. All right, Joe is here, hat in hand. Oh my gosh. Okay, number 7's the charm. 7, 12, whatever. All right, we're gonna go stand by the lift and explain what's going on. It's recording.
Oh, it was already recording.
Yes, it was paused. It was paused. I'm glad I didn't do a big long. Oh, well, that would be perfect for today. Okay, we just had a little our problem with are we recording or not, and I'm flustered because I've been scurrying around like a crazy person. The roofing is not happening today. There were some more weather issues in Houston, and so the crew is delayed. But I told Joe not to come today because the first thing they would do with this when they get on site is go up and start removing all the pieces of the roof that have to come down, our metal vents and the finials and everything in the demo. So I assumed on day one I would not get to use the lift. Well, the lift was delivered today and they're not roofing, so I have a whole day to use it and nobody here to watch me, and that's a big safety issue. So I got on the phone and called Joe. She's going to stay till this afternoon, and then our volunteer Sherry is going to come over and watch me because we have an opportunity to get 5 or 6 uninterrupted hours of use out of this, which is huge for us. So let me show you what's going on. I told you in the intro where I'm going to start and the priority there. But this is the lift. It's a little bit different than the one I'm used to using. It's a little bit smaller, so it might be a little easier to maneuver, but it operates basically the same. And I'm going to put on a safety harness. I'm going to attach myself to the basket Joe is always going to be on the ground watching me, making sure that everything is clear. We are lucky in that there are no overhead electric lines on the property. We have a AT&T fiber optic cable line, but that can't hurt me. I might damage it, but we don't have any electrocution risks. So we have the ability to move around pretty freely, and I've gathered a lot of stuff. If I finish my project there, I'm also going to get out the chainsaw, try to trim some trees, trim some of these palm trees up, and do some work on the fascia on the front of the house that looks really bad. But I've got to get that little U-shaped area done first. It's the hardest to get the lift into. I don't quite remember how I did it before. So while Joe was coming, I took some time to scope that out. I also ran down and drank a gallon of Gatorade, ate a banana, potassium loaded, saturated myself in bug spray, and ran around and got all my stuff together. So I'm ready to go. So I'm going to start it up, drive it over, and see if I can get situated in that little area. If I can, then Joe's going to have to help me kind of get stuff together and in the basket. So she's going to get way over there. So anyway, so I know that I need my sander. I know that I need my caulk gun. You can have that. That's the microphone. I'm going to go ahead and put those things in the basket. I will, I'll need an extension cord, and I'm not going to put my harness on yet while I drive it over and get it in position. Then I'll put my harness on when I'm going up. Let me get that in the basket. Might take me a while to untangle that. And my gloves. All right, so are you ready? Hold on. I have to turn the key on. It has an operating panel. It has an operating panel in the basket, but it also has one on the sides. Okay, I've been going through all my switches because this is a little different than the one I did before. And one thing I wanted to do is make sure it's on turtle and not rabbit. Turtle and not rabbit, because that controls the speed. And not that rabbit is very fast, but you don't want to get too carried away with this thing. Okay, let's see if I can start her up. And it's got a like a little gas pedal here. And the other thing you have to be careful is you always have to know where you are behind you, above you, and beside you. So if I'm turning, where'd you go? So if I turn that way, my boom is going that way, so I need to actually correct the boom and get out of the way. What I'm hoping to do is get here, lift the boom, back the base of this up to the porch so that I can extend the boom straight into that opening there. So I am going to get suited up because I'm going to have to go high to do that. And I sure wish this had a door like the other one, but it doesn't. I have to go under this bar. So y'all have seen me wear this before. Oh, and actually before I do this, Joe, I need an extension cord to be in here with me, because once I get up, I don't want to come down. Laying by the plugs in there. Pause, I've got a few more things, because once I'm up there, I don't know how easy it will be to get down. This was actually much harder than it looks. This piece of equipment is very jerky. It's got these little toggle switches that you flip to move the arm in and out, up or down, different angles, the basket at different angles. The basket swivels on the end, and unfortunately the basket is actually a little bit too wide to go in between this U-shaped area, so I have to turn the basket sideways, which makes it a little bit awkward because it changes the angle of the arm. It was a nightmare, and I was worried about doing anything too suddenly because it kind of whipsaws the arm, and I didn't want to hit the side of the house and damage the plaster. So it's just a very tedious process to figure out how to maneuver and get where I need to work. And then of course I had another problem. I don't know if I talk about it later in the video or not, but basically I laid my arm on a safety switch that I did not know existed, which shut down the boom controls, and I was a little bit stuck for a while. Fortunately, I was fairly close to the ground and could climb out and jump out of the basket and call the technician again. We were getting to be on a first name basis, and he came and flipped that switch and checked the machine out again, and I got back to it. So you can tell this is a lot easier than being on a ladder. It's a little difficult to get this thing in position, but once you're there, you know, you have both hands to work, you're pretty stable. This thing does sway, and the first time I used one, I was nauseated all day, and I thought I was coming down with a stomach bug, and then I realized I was motion sick because it was windy and it was swaying the whole time. But you get used to it. Then I'm going to get to scraping. And actually I need to borrow Jo and get her to plug this extension cord in so I can use the sander. Okay, it was not a good day. Jo came and I worked and worked and worked and maneuvered the lift over here and painted that little section right there. And I tried very hard to maneuver it into the space and couldn't do it. And then it actually got slightly unlevel and turned itself off and would not move. So we had to have a technician come, take the leveling mechanism out, hold it level in his hand while I inched the boom back out. And then I moved it and trimmed some palm trees, and that was okay. And then I was going to move it. Oh, I did paint prime the fascia across the back there. Easy. And then I moved it over here because the other area that I really want to get scraped and primed is up there. And when I was moving it, even though we talked about it this morning, that our internet cable is here, I still clipped it and pulled it free from the house, which dropped it out into the road, and cars were running over it, and it was a mess. So then I had to go get some brackets. And thank goodness I had the lift and reattach it to the house. And that took the whole day. So I pretty much did nothing. I did not get a lot of video of what was going on because I was so frantic trying to use that lift and get some work done, and it's just too difficult to operate that lift and film at the same time. You really have to be present in the moment when you're up there, being aware of things like our fiber optic cable line, and it was such a mess. I didn't get any film of it on the ground, but oh my gosh, what a clown show. So it's attached to the house here. It crosses the street to a pole on the other side. So when it fell across the street and was blocking traffic. So fortunately, Sherry and her husband Ronan were here. They had come after Joe left so that I could keep working on the boom. And they're such incredible volunteers. They pitched in, and we still had so much debris in the yard from that derecho that we had. I can't never pronounce that right. So they were doing yard work and cleaning. I had been trimming some trees, but when it fell, we had to stop everything and just work on that. And because it's a very long run of cord, it was heavy, even though it's a thin line, and I could not pull it tight enough to get it on the wall. So I actually had to strap it to the basket and use the boom to pull it tight to the wall. So I had gone inside and found a bracket and some screws and everything. And I don't know what possessed me. This is the dumbest thing I have ever done, probably, up there. But the bracket needed 2 screws. My screws were up on the 3rd floor. I went up there and got 2 screws and put in my pocket. So what is the very first thing that happened? Up on that lift with the thing tied off, I dropped the screw. So I couldn't come down because I would have to undo everything and start all over again. And it took about 40 minutes to get everything set up to get that bracket in. So Ronan went and found my screws, brought them and threw them up to me one at a time until I was able to catch one and get that done. So after that, I was done for the day. It was late, I was tired, and it was time to call it quits and try again in the morning. So let's see what happened on the next morning. All right, yesterday it was a bust, and this just started blowing in. Everything is supposed to be clear for a week, but there's a very small patch on the radar. We're getting gale force winds, and I don't know if it's showing up on the video, but really dark black clouds blowing in from the south. So the roofer's got the crew on hold, and he's watching the radar. It looks like it might blow through quickly. It's very isolated, as you can see. Just to the east, it's blue skies, but of course it's just coming straight for the house, and we're getting really, really strong wind gusts periodically. So not good conditions to be on the roof. So we may be attempt number 7 tomorrow, but we'll see. They're still on call. We're going to give it an hour and see what happens. So it's one of those rare days where I give up. It was just a nightmarish day all around. The storm didn't seem to be clearing, so the roofers canceled the day. I actually didn't give up. I hung around because there was a little work I could do, and then suddenly the skies cleared and it was bright and calm again, and here I am once again with the lift available and no one to watch me work. My hero is here. I need someone to come sit in a chair and watch me.
Oh, okay. You know, well, I won't say it on video.
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
But I understand you're also the expert heavy equipment operator.
Who, me?
You.
Yeah, a little bit. 16 years plus.
Okay, the view from the top. This is what I'm scraping and priming. That's what I did yesterday. And there's my hero down on the ground, my watcher. Supervisor. Okay, I'm getting tired, but I'm almost done.
Got this little bitty hand one and
Yeah, just a little one. I want to put some primer on this upper part of the window up here. And then I'm going to use my stick and finish painting that. Okay, I'm exhausted. It is so hot. But Herbie came to my rescue, and we maneuvered the lift into place. And I scraped, primed, and double painted that fascia right there that's going to be covered by a gutter. And as an added bonus, I was able to prime the back of that plywood where we faux painted the stained glass and get a coat of blue on it. So it's not awesome, but it looks better than raw plywood. Okay, 7th or 8th time I've lost count, and today they're now projecting 60% chance of rain across 4 hours mid-morning. But there was a lone roofer up there. I don't know what happened to the rest of the crew, but things were getting off to a painfully slow start. He was very carefully removing one shingle at a time, but at this point, at least it's a start. I don't know where everybody else went.
It's a 4-inch.
Okay, it's fogged up. I don't think that last one took. It's so humid, but this is blowing in unexpectedly.
Hey, on this one?
So we're gonna abort again. Yeah.
Keeping this one?
Yes, that's the good one.
This one's gone.
That one's gone.
Okay, I'm gonna go get a 4-inch.
And those are gone.
I'm gonna go get a 4-inch lead.
Okay.
And I'll be back. All right, is that all we need?
Yeah, we got everything that fell and what it's sealed.
Okay. All right, and then the wood is downstairs. So
I can
any
show
wood
them. I can show them where
any
that
wood
is.
that we need to replace is downstairs. All right, let me go get it.
So they're gonna try to get this little section off right here and get some waterproofing down. Call it a day. Hey, it's Janie from the League-Kempner House, and it was supposed to be attempt number 7 at a roof. But the boom broke again this morning. I got nothing done. This violent storm is moving in swiftly from the north. It was not forecast earlier in the week. And part of the roof is open, and they are feverishly trying to get it closed off and get down off there before this major part hits within the next 30 minutes. So here we are again. Mother Nature is a you-know-what. I was going up to check and see if they got the roof closed in, but this is a good chance because it's raining pretty steadily now to show you how that water comes off in this U-shaped area. And it's not really raining hard, but that's quite a bit of water. So hopefully our custom gutter will catch that and direct it away, and you can see it splashing down the wall over there, and that's where it seeps in that crack between the old building and the new building. And obviously there's a problem with that window with water hitting it at some point because they added that strange galvanized flashing above it, which I have not taken off until we solve all the water issues, because there is water on the floor under that window all the time. It's damp. But I don't think that's the problem. I think it's coming in that crack between the old building and the new building. So that's what I have to get up there and caulk. Oops, that's scary. Alright, I'm not crawling out there, but you can see they just tacked down quickly some weather shield. Keep the water out for this rain. That'll have to come off and be done a little better, obviously, but for now, that's good enough. So that is it for the video today. As you can see, our roof is not going to plan. I get asked all the time, am I frustrated or upset? I am actually a little frustrated, but only because I really would like to be using that lift more to do some work on this house. I had a quote to get just the fascia scraped and painted, and it was between $6,000 and $8,000 depending on the sections that they did, and that's work that I can do on that lift basically for the price of a couple of gallons of paint. So I am a little frustrated, but it's a weather issue more than anything. There's nothing any of us can do about that. So we're doing the best we can. So we will pick up next week and you can see what's going on. But the spoiler alert, I'm filming this ending 2 months after that video, and you can see some of our roof elements are still here on the ground. So that will give you a little clue what's to come. But until next week, I'm Janie with the League-Kempner House in Galveston. Thanks for watching and supporting this incredible house.